This video is my New Year resolutions video for 2025. If you haven't done so already, please check out part 1 of this 2-part video series. In part 1, I covered off how 2024 turned out, my achievements last year, what went wrong. Basically, that video helped set context for this one. One of my biggest targets, I actually called it a target.
Target?
A target.
Oh.
Was to marry you. Also, I just want to quickly add, for those of you that enjoy my Zwifting content, I've got a right treat for you. I really want to unlock the mystical in-game Tron bike. Okay, here we go, guys. I'm going to climb out to Zwift to get my Tron bike. I've completely fallen for the hype. Those that use Zwift know you get this bike when you've climbed the equivalent of 50,000 metres. That's the equivalent of cycling up out to Zwift just under 50 times. So I've decided to climb out to Zwift non-stop until I unlock it. But you'll have to wait until later in the video to see that. Do I manage to do it? All the jeopardy, the drama, the clickbait. So this video is already starting out strong. I'm a week behind my weekly video upload schedule as I'm just back from a family holiday. We literally woke up one day just after Christmas and decided to have a break away for a week. And I did absolutely nothing for that week. I mean, literally feet up the wall, stare at the ceiling, nothing. It turns out the Rafa 500 and completing the PRL 4 in the same week takes it out of you a little. That was the hardest one I've done so far. Brutal. So we spent a week hiking the trails and footpaths along the UK's Cornish coastline. If anyone lives in the UK, you know how pretty Cornwall is, especially in winter and driving rain and gale force winds. As a family, we've been working really hard this year, or last year, 2024. I've been on a relentless fitness and YouTube video upload crusade all year. Both my daughters have had their exams, college and sixth form inductions, and Tracy, the linchpin that holds our family together, well, she's the hardest working human being I know. I take a lot of inspiration and confidence from Tracy, and it's been a really tough year for her especially. Again, as I said before, watch part 1 as it adds more context to what I'm saying here. So our New Year break to the seaside felt really good. It just gave us all the chance to blow out the Christmas cobwebs and kickstart 2025 with a feeling of being factory reset. As you do it, you've got to try and look at the camera.
I thought it was like slow motion. Couldn't have done that in 2018.
Now, I will just quickly say, part of setting challenging targets and goals for a whole year is to know when to rest. In an ideal world, I should really build in periods of rest within these big challenging events and even the small ones, but I don't do that. I've come to terms with the fact that I enjoy the grind and the relentless forward progress, but something has to be said about leaving everything you own behind at home with all the distractions and trappings that comes with that and travelling somewhere completely different with your loved ones. It really does feel good to switch off from the white noise that we all get caught up in, especially around this time of year where expectations are high on ourselves and from other people, and change is all part of our plans and nobody likes change. I also got to enjoy my other hobby, forcing my 2 teenage daughters to do some form of physical exercise. Knowing I've made them walk over cliffs along coastal footpaths in gale force winds in the middle of winter, initially against their will, fills me with joy. Then seeing them enjoy it and ask to do it again makes everything worthwhile. I then ruin that wholesome vibe by pointing this out to them and highlighting that Dad always knows best. It's amazing what a break from social media and screens can do for the soul.
So?
Start here.
Yeah.
Go to the edge.
Yeah.
Go here.
Go here?
Go here. Straight down.
Jesus.
Champagne without the bubbles, made it all the way from Stockholm.
This is Tintagel. Tintagel Castle is up there. We're not allowed up there because of the gale force winds.
All of us around one table, games that no one knew the name of. Hurts me so, it's in the past already.
I know I'm a YouTuber and should be promoting the virtues of watching me on the screen, but seeing them pick up a book and read instead of staring at a screen for entertainment makes me feel like I've already won this year before it's even gotten started.
Oh, did I ruin it? Did I ruin the moment?
However, having said all that lovely stuff, sitting still for any length of time kills me slowly inside. So as I say to them, do as I say and not as I do. I missed running and Zwifting, so I spent my downtime watching others Zwift and run on YouTube. There you go, balance has been restored. Please subscribe and watch me on a screen. Now we're home, obviously, we returned home yesterday. I'm now back on the grind, planning my next few videos that will be coming up over the course of the next few weeks. My Zwifting Rafa 500 and PRL full exploits will be coming to the channel in the next few weeks. 2 really hard challenges that I attempted only a couple of weeks ago now, plus a new type of video where I try to do 100 press-ups every day for a month. This was a lot harder than it sounds, and it felt like a really good idea at the time. It's going to be a good video, guys. You're going to enjoy it, probably more so than I did making it. My feet were slipping. Part of my newly earned fitness freedom and weight loss is the feeling that I get at the start of a box fresh new year. In the past, my diet, specifically my constant battle with alcohol coming out of the Christmas weeks, typically a period of excessive eating and drinking, meant that New Year did not hold any excitement for me. In fact, New Year was a time of year where I felt at my lowest because I had drunk and eaten to excess. Not having the ability to not drink, especially, was embarrassing, and I hid that feeling as best I could, mainly by having another drink to forget about it. Now, I will quickly say that I am currently in the process of writing a script for a video where I talk about my views and history with alcohol, so I won't go into detail in this one, but because I'm now completely teetotal, New Year no longer is a period I dread, and I don't avoid thinking about it, which is great, as that feeling historically was awful. I still eat far too much over the Christmas period.
We all do.
And a week-long trip to the seaside also doesn't help the diet. Almost every shop in Cornwall sells Cornish pasties. You know things are not on track when you're still carb loading for your Rafa 500 challenge 4 days after it's ended. So, having said all of this, these are my 2025 New Year's targets, resolutions, and ambitions. These are just some of the juicy challenges I have planned for this year. I obviously have smaller, less grand, but yet fun ones scribbled in my notebook that will make for very entertaining videos that aren't mentioned in this video, but will appear on my channel throughout the year. I'm going to start with a particularly fun one. I'm not sure if it's a resolution, target or ambition, probably the latter. I want to spend the next 12 months becoming a much better cyclist.
You said it'd take about half an hour.
Half an hour, you said that? It's as simple as that. If I get to the end of 2025 and I feel competent on a bike, this one will be ticked off. I've gone from being a complete non-cyclist in 2023. In fact, I've gone from hating cycling, mainly because it hurt so much as an obese bloke in his late 30s, to now loving it. I'm obviously playing all this down as I'm yet to take on a real test of skill and endurance on a bike. So I don't really want to big myself up as someone who's kind of crest a wave, but all things come to those who wait. My aim for this year is to take on some bigger rides and battle up more climbs, all with an eye on becoming a fairly competent cyclist. I always say to my kids when setting targets or ambitions is to ensure they're simple, measurable, achievable, realistic, etc, etc. We've all heard of the SMART anagram. Is it an anagram? Becoming a competent cyclist as a target is hard to quantify. I haven't entered into any crazy cycling endurance events for 2025. Not because I believe I can't complete them. I know I'll finish them or I'll die trying. What's the worst that can happen? I have to walk. I know I can cover 100k in 1 day running. This is how I rationalise big challenges that I take on. I kind of break them down and think of them in equivalent in other things that I've done. Anyway, unlike in previous years, I haven't entered into any new events yet, cycling or running. Not because I believe I'm not fit enough or won't train hard enough. I'm the fittest I've ever been in my life now. I'm definitely the lightest. I've ever been, even with all the Cornish pasties I've eaten over the last week. And the training is the best bit of taking on new challenges. I've discussed this a lot with Tracy, my one-woman support crew, and I've decided to spend a year, 2025, enjoying my ability to do stuff rather than jumping from one huge event to the next. And as I've already mentioned, I want to explore other fitness-related challenges that I wouldn't be able to do if I spent all my time training for one or two specific events. Now, obviously, as time goes on this year and knowing my own impulsive personality, that doesn't mean I won't see something and jump on it, but for now, I've decided to simply enjoy my newfound love of cycling before I attempt a sufferfest like the Fred Whitton. I haven't had a full summer outdoor cycling yet. This year will be my first year, so I'm going to train on Zwift, as I have been already. I pretty much race every day. My addiction to Zwift is real. I'm going to climb out to Zwift to get my Tron bike, and I'm going to get comfortable on the bike IRL, taking on homemade cycling challenges. You can tell I'm a Zwifter before a cyclist, as I refer to the act of cycling outdoors as IRL. Normal people that cycle get into Zwift through their love of cycling. I've done it the other way round. One of my first cycling challenges will be to ride from the source of the River Thames to its estuary. The route also, obviously, as it's the River Thames, goes straight through central London. So this challenge has two sub-challenges for me. This will be, when I eventually do complete it, my longest ride so far. So that will be sub-challenge 1. And I'll have to contend with London traffic in cleats, the dreaded cleats, so sub-challenge 2. It's not really the dreaded cleats, I actually don't mind them now, but yeah, I still have to contend with London traffic. And also, staying on the subject of cycling to become a better cyclist as a New Year ambition, I also want to climb as many hills as I can that are in my new favourite book, 100 Climbs in the UK. I'm currently tracking well, as I've completed 2 of the 100 in the book, so only another 98 to go. It should keep me busy for the best part of the summer. Recording. The only downside is that I live in Essex in the UK, literally the flattest part of Great Britain. Less than ideal, so this is going to be a lot of travelling for me, and of course my new filming director, Tracy. This book? Northern. This book also includes climbing Hard Knot Pass and Winnose Pass, Rinnose. I'm probably butchering that. It's in the Lake District. Considering that they're both within reasonable proximity to each other, I may as well attempt both at the same time for a video. Seems logical. I'm saying that now, and doing both would be a lot of fun. I also feel I need to knock out Hard Knot Pass, get it out of the way ASAP, as it's a climb that gets mentioned in my comments the most. How hard can it be?
I'll give him a whirl.
Now, I'm obviously joking with that comment. I know it's brutal. The book tells me it's brutal. The Dunning-Kruger effect is not applicable here when it comes to this challenge. I know exactly what I'm getting myself in for. However, please feel free to comment. All comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. It really helps my channel out. And more importantly, I really appreciate your support. Also, climbing it on a gravel bike is going to be fun. I'm not sure if it's going to be fun for me or you watching. I'm not buying another bike just to climb hills, guys. Right? I've had that comment as well. Buy a new bike. I've just bought this one and then decided I wanted to climb hills. I don't know why, but yeah, famous last words. I'm probably going to end up buying a bike, aren't I? I really hope not. I don't want to buy a bike. Please don't leave comments saying I've got to buy a bike. I don't want to.
Like a fish on land.
I will say, for those of you that love my running videos, I haven't forgotten about my running. I know I've spoken a lot about cycling. I'm just obsessed with cycling and Zwifting at the moment, and considering that 98% of the fitness and weight loss battle is being motivated to want to exercise, I thought, why not embrace my newfound love of cycling? Let's go with this two-wheeled hype train and ultimately see where it leads me. I will be doing park runs and other running events throughout the year, as and when Tracy gives me Saturdays off from our family business. I'd like to get my parkrun PR down from 27:39, which I set at the start of December, to sub 25 minutes. However, the only way I'm going to do this is if I train and possibly lose a bit more weight. I'm hoping that the cycling and hill climbing and racing on Zwift will help me with the weight bit, and I just love running, so going out to run, as nothing else clears your mind and relieves stressful days like a long run, will help with the running bit. if I'm honest, than doing your park run to get my PR down to under 25 minutes. Anyway, I'm waffling, but there is more running stuff coming this year as well. What will also help with this is training for something that I'm going to do as my next big, huge challenge. Are you ready for this? I'm going to attempt to complete the National 3 Peak Challenge in the summer. The National 3 Peak Challenge, I've said National 3 Peak 4 times. The National 5 Challenge is to hike up and back down, obviously, as it's a mountain or peaks, the 3 biggest mountains in the UK. So Ben Nevis in Scotland, Scafell Pike in England, and Snowdon in Wales, all within a 24-hour period. So this isn't a nice little ramble. It's not a walking holiday. I've got to get up and back down each of the mountains within 24 hours. This challenge, if you know the UK, is as much logistical as it is physical. 24 hours sounds like a long time, but considering the distances between the 3 mountains in 3 different countries, it's going to take some planning and sensible driving intermixed with a bit of rapid walking up 3 mountains, all against the clock. I'm also going to have to climb at least 1 in the dark. That should be fun. Just a quick backstory for this challenge. I believed I was able to do the National 3 Peak Challenge back in 2019. I had that much confidence in my own ability, which was completely unfounded, as I have no history of walking, hiking, climbing mountain. I mean, that's obvious. I weighed 30 stone. However, the Dunning-Kruger effect was definitely alive and kicking inside me back then. So I attempted the Yorkshire 3 Peaks, which is a much smaller version, as training for this, and I couldn't finish the Yorkshire 3 Peaks course, only making it halfway before having to give up, before I passed out. Now, having to call it halfway through the Yorkshire 3 Peaks back in 2019 was a depressing moment of realisation, as it put an immediate stop to my dreams of completing the national version. It was also the first time I actually realised how heavy and unfit I really was. Self-awareness wasn't my strong suit back then. It probably isn't now either. But I am going to complete this. I'm also going to do it solo, or maybe with the help of Tracy driving me, as she's apparently not happy with me driving tired, especially at night. Completing the National 3 Peaks will feel like I've arrived. It will feel like I've finally done it. I've beaten excessive eating, poor life choices, and specifically, it will feel like I've beaten alcohol. I now know that I am 100% fit, strong and light enough to complete it, and will attempt it later this year when the weather is a little bit more clement, as I'm not doing it while the mountains are still covered in snow. I'm not that brave. Dunning-Kruger effect goes some ways, but I am sensible enough to know not to do this challenge in winter. I know some people do. Maybe that's a challenge for Ryan in 2026 or 2027. But this year, I'm doing it in the sun. Thanks for watching, Happy New Year, and here's to a fantastic 2025. Good luck, and see you in next week's video. You're not going to want to miss it. It's a really good one, guys. Okay, here we go, guys. I'm going to climb out to Zwift to get my Tron bike. I hate this corner. Okay, it's 100 metres. There we go! 109 metres. I did it. I did it, guys! Oh, I'm really sorry about the clickbait at the beginning of this video with getting the Tron by non-stop climbing up out to Zwift. I only had like 400 metres left to get the Tron, but I've got the Tron. I've got the Tron. If this doesn't count for an extra 50 watts in every race, I want a refund. But I've got the Tron. And of course, I was always going to finish climbing the Alp. I wasn't going to stop just because I'd reached 109 metres and unlocked the Tron. But the good news is, oh baby! Look, the Zwift Concept Z1, aka the Tron. What colour? Bright pink or I don't know. Tracy, I did it!
Did what?
Unlock the concept bike.
Oh, well done. It was a Tron bike.